Hey everyone, quick announcement before we go into these videos. Both books are out now, Whispers in the Dark and Something About 30. Go ahead and purchase yours now. I have two links. I have my link where you get it at a discount and an Amazon link. So you can, write a review for me, okay? Feel that, love that, subscribe, like this, and ring the bell. Let's go.
All right. So, this is a memory. And to this day, I can't explain what happened this night. So, I'm a kid. I'm like 6. I want to say I'm like 5 or 6. I'm really young. And around this time is when my mom, she met my stepdad. So, I started staying at his cousin's house a lot. And his mom's house. I used to stay at his mom's house, which I call her grandma, whatever, and all his cousins. So, this is going to be a quick story. So, one day, I think we're at their mom's house, if I'm not mistaken, or their older sister's house. We're somewhere. To be honest, I don't even remember. A lot of that time in my childhood was kind of a blur because of certain stuff that was going on. But I definitely do remember all of them. Like, I remember being with them. And I think this night we were at their mom's house, not my grandma's house. So we're sleeping all the way in the back room. The back room is a bedroom and it has a bathroom attached to it. That's important. So remember, we're sleeping on the floor. If you know, when you go sleep over your cousin's house or whatever, like, y'all sleep on the floor. Y'all put out y'all got an air mattress, y'all got thick quilts, whatever y'all got, y'all spread it out on the floor and we just sleep. So I don't know what time it was, but for some reason, whenever I think about this memory, I feel like the clock said 3 a.m. or 3:30 a.m. All I hear is like loud stomping, but like right next to me though. There's no possible way that anybody could have been stomping to the point where it sounds like stomping because we had our quilts and stuff laid out. So it's like, how could you be like, it would have been cushioned is what I'm trying to say. It sounded like just stomping, like no cushion to it. I'm looking around, nobody's moving. So it's like, I'm the only one who's hearing that shit. Everybody is knocked out, bro. Like, everybody. I start hearing stuff in the bathroom, like moving around, the toilet flushing, nobody used the bathroom, like stuff is happening, y'all, and nobody's moving. Like, it's like I'm the only one hearing everything. When I tell y'all, I'm trying to force myself to stop hearing all this stuff. Like, I clenched my eyeballs so tight, my eyeballs could have disintegrated. Ow! That's how true it was. My eyelash got caught onto my other eye. My eyeballs could have disintegrated into the back of my head, how tight I was holding my eyes. So, yo, I'm so serious. I clenched my eyeballs so tight trying to like just, bro, I was trying to tell myself like, bro, you're dreaming. Like, this is a dream. Why? Y'all know what it is. Word of my mother. Why? I opened my eyes for half a second like that to look in front of me. Why there's big ass boots walking past my face, bro. Word to my mother, bro. Big ass boots. Like, when I retold this story, the boots that I thought, like the boots that it looked like was like worker boots, like boots that they be wearing. Like, if you ever seen an MTA worker, but the ones that work on the tracks, those are big ass boots that they make them wear. That's the type of boots that it looked like big ass boots, and they had the suit on to match. They looked like they was like them underwater people. Y'all watch SpongeBob? Y'all know that big ass boot that be in some of the episodes? It looked like that type of, like, it looked like a boot, and he had a suit on. And he walked past my face. Like, I didn't see him. I seen his big ass boot, his legs, and that's about it. Cause I was about to look up at him. Like, look, I'm like that. I go like that. My eyes felt like that. I was like, I was in shock. I was in terror. I was scared as fuck. Did I pee on myself? I don't know. I don't remember. I ain't never stood so still in my life. He walked away. It sounded like, cause like I ain't look. it sounded like he walked towards the bathroom, and then I ain't hear no more walking no more. It felt like an eternity. It felt like an eternity, bro. I don't remember if I fell asleep right away. I just know I laid there, and then I felt light on my face, and I looked up, and it was morning. I told everybody this story. Once we woke up, I was like, bro, y'all not even gonna believe this. But because we cousins and we always messing around, the older ones trying to scare the little ones trying to get back at the older ones, they did not believe me. I told my grandma, she was like, you was probably dreaming. I'm like, do y'all really think that do you not see the terror? I'm scared. I refused. I remember, one thing I do remember is I refused to go back to that house. That was not my grandmama's house. That was their mama house. I refused to go back to that house after that. Cause one thing about it, we do have an uncle who's heavy set, and he do work. They was trying to tell me that I probably seen him walking. Why would he be walking in the room at 3:30, 3 a.m. in the morning in his work clothes? Why would he be doing that? Y'all need to start listening to kids when they tell y'all stuff. Do you know how angry that made me? I'm like, I think I would know if Uncle Raymond was walking through this damn room at 3 a.m. The leg looked ghostly, okay? It didn't look solid. It didn't look with color. That shit looked ghostly, okay? I know that wasn't my Uncle Raymond foot. Y'all need to start listening to the kids, okay? But yeah, that's my story time for today. Yeah, my bad. I've been gone for like a couple of days. I've been getting my life together. Stay tuned for that. But I love y'all. Mwah.
Bruh. I would make what I'm thinking of. I thought of a lot of things because we have heard this story, like someone talking about the boots, the word boots before. And when she said like when she was describing it, I was like, oh, I'm thinking of SpongeBob. I'm thinking about the scuba diver, SpongeBob scuba diver. That's what I was thinking of. And then when she said the M-track, I was just like, okay, cool. So maybe back in the past, maybe there was an M-track that ran through y'all, but a lot of the times, the M-tracks from back in the day are still around. Like, they're still here. There's still railroads. Like, it's not many times where I see where they pull up the tracks. It's not, that's not very common here in North Carolina because we still use our trains. I don't know where other places that they still use their trains, but we still use our trains and people ride our trains and stuff, especially for the state fair. And then when she said the SpongeBob, mentioned SpongeBob, like, diving, it made me think of like maybe it was like the future, like once everything like Wally. That's what I was thinking. Wally, everything's gone, and one of the guys or people came back and was, trying to look for remains or something, like life or something, or like it was so many thoughts. But yes, it could have been a ghost, because yeah, or maybe it could have been a parallel get crossed. It could have been a lot of things, but she said it's ghostly. It was a ghostly leg and she could see through it. Friend, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Because there's times when I was a kid where I played sleep. But there was other times where I was just like, okay, what's going on? Let me see what's going on. Especially if I'm at somebody's house that's not like my blood family. Oh yeah, I need to know what's going on so I can go back and tell my mom. So yeah, friend, I don't know what that was. What y'all think that was? Comment below.
Hey y'all, it's Editing Shawnee. I almost forgot I have a email submission that came in, so I'm gonna read it real quick. It says, hey Shawnee girl, you can call me Layla. I have been subscribed to your channel for a few months now, and I love your videos and appreciate your work. Thank you so much, gal. Appreciate you for watching. I wanted to send you my paranormal story. It's kind of a long one, which is fine because we love those. Back in 2011, my brother's best friend, we called him Drew, was shot and killed. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Fast forward to 2015, I had my son. His name is Caleb. We never talked to Caleb about Drew for no reason in particular, just didn't. Fast forward a few more years, like 2019, Caleb was about 4 and I had my daughter who was about 1 at the time. I had a dream with Drew in it. In my dream, I remember I was standing outside of what looked like a church. I was outside by myself and I was looking down at my feet. I looked up and seen Drew standing there with short hair. About a year or two before his passing, he had cut his hair. It was past his shoulders and he cut it short into waves. I looked back down at my feet and looked up again and seen Drew standing there with his long hair. That was the end of my dream. Literally 2 days later, me and the kids were at home when a storm hit and our power went out. So I packed our bags and we went to stay the night at my parents' house. As we were in the car, my daughter was in the back on the passenger side. Caleb was in the back seat behind me. I was driving and our bag and my purse were in the passenger seat next to me. I heard Caleb say, "Who is that?" I asked him who he was talking about, and he said, "I was looking out the window and I looked in front and I seen somebody with long hair. I looked back out the window, and when I looked in the front seat again, I didn't see anybody." I automatically knew who he was talking about and started crying. When we got to my parents' house, I showed Caleb a picture of Drew, and Caleb told me that's who he had seen in the front seat. I didn't know what to say or do but cry again. About a month passed and I went to go see a medium. I do believe, but I'm also spiritual, not religious. Everything that the medium was saying was on point. She even told me he was in the car that night protecting us because of the weather. The medium also told me that when someone shows themselves to you, they will show you the version of themselves they like the most, which is why he showed himself to us with long hair. I also hear people seeing their parents or grandparents that have passed as them younger, not what they look like when they pass. I have a couple other paranormal experiences, nothing big. I can send you those as well, but they're not long. Thank you so much, Lila. I appreciate it. Look, that is very sweet and touching. Like, wow. The baby didn't even know who Drew was, and he's seeing Drew. Like, that's so sweet. I'm glad Drew was there to protect y'all during that weather, because you had you and your babies and everything. The power was out. Like, that was really a blessing. I'm glad that your baby got to meet Drew and got to see the good part of him. Like, hey, he's a protector. Like, you have somebody protecting over you, your guardian angel. Love that.
Y'all keep bugging me about these scary stories, although I haven't done one in months. But I appreciate y'all for being faithful. I truly do. I ain't got nothing but time. So let's get into one. So this actually is not just my story. It's also my dad's story too. So I do have a witness. Like, this is true. All the stories I tell are true, but I have witnesses. So growing up, I always thought my grandma's house was creepy. Big old house, like over 100 years old in Maryland. Literally across the street from a graveyard, if that don't make it any worse. But this house is huge. 2 sets of stairs, a full set of stairs in the front, a full set of stairs in the back. Front stairs are carpeted, back stairs aren't. They creak, they croak, they do all types of things. When you cut the lights off in that house, you better beware, because you won't hear some things, so you better cut that TV on. This house has like 7 bedrooms and like 3 bathrooms. Huge house. Well, when I was younger, my grandma used to stay upstairs. Now she only lives downstairs. We used to always sleep in the guest bedroom. Now, like I said, we had multiple bedrooms to choose from. So at first we started on one side of the hall, and after this story we ended up on the other side. But there was this room that had a bed, it had an ironing board. She used to go in there and iron her uniforms for work. One night I was sleeping in this bedroom, and it's important to mention that this bedroom has this little cutout of a door in the wall, but it's wallpapered over, but you can still see the imprint of the door, and then you can see like the little key slot where the key's supposed to go. That night I had the worst feeling coming from that door. Didn't see anything by the door, didn't see nothing happen with the door. It was just that corner in that area where that door was just gave me such a bad feeling, to where I got up at some point during the night and I went to go sleep with my grandma. The next day when I got home, I told my dad about it. And he was like, funny enough that you say that, because when I was little, that used to be my bedroom. That was my bedroom as a little boy. This is a multi-generational home. This home has been in our family for multi-generations. So when my dad was living there with his mom, his grandma was also staying there. Southern Baptist church woman through and through, baby. So my dad said one night that he was sleeping. He was having a hard time sleeping, and he rolled over facing the door, which was facing the tiny door in the wall. He says he was slowly sleeping in and out of consciousness, and he woke up and he looked, and the door was slowly creaking open. He said he sat straight up in bed, and as he looked over the door, he saw a hand come out and grip around the door. Child, he couldn't move. So at this point, he's just sitting straight up in bed and he can't move at all. He watches the door and he sees something shoot up under his bed. At this point, what you gonna do? Again, he says he is frozen in fear. He cannot speak. He cannot move. All he can do is move his eyes. He said it felt similar to sleep paralysis, but he knows for a fact he was not asleep. When he finally musters up some energy to call out, he calls out to his grandma. Immediately, she comes into the room. He tells her everything that happened. She goes down the hall, gets her Bible, her holy oil. She anoints the whole room, the house, upstairs, downstairs, and anoints him and his bed. Immediately when she starts praying, whatever that is shoots from up under the bed, goes into the door, and the door slams. That next day, she got my pop up the wallpaper that whole room and wallpaper over that door. I know that's right. And to this day, outside that bedroom door, you can still see the oil dripping on the door that my great grandma had left on the door.
That's what I'm freaking talking about. Thank you. Finally, somebody who has done what we've been saying, bro. Woo! Don't you love that feeling? Don't you love that feeling? Yes, that anointed, honey. That anointed feeling, honey. I love that someone paid attention. Listen to the child. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm just thinking, like, with my grandmama, she would have did the same exact thing. Because my grandmama, she knows. She would have been praying over that whole house, honey. She would have did the same thing, honey. Both of my grandmas, my grandmama and her mama. Like, yes, honey, girl. I love that. I love that for y'all. Y'all, well, not the scary part. The scary part I didn't like. But, you know, the anointing part and praying and casting that out. Like, I wish I would have did more, cast it out completely out the house. But at least y'all handled it enough, you know. We could have did more. But I'm glad what you did, because people do less. Like, so many people do less. Do so much less. So yeah, love that for you, friend. Love that.
Somebody left this story in the comments section of one of my videos on TikTok. I'm gonna put their username up here. Thank you so much for sharing, and I definitely had to read this for you guys. My name is Millie, and I have a story I'd like you to make a video about. So I was 9, I was pulling an all-nighter at my dad's house, and it was a 1-story home. I was sitting at the kitchen table, which was right next to the living room where my bunk bed was, and it was 3 in the morning. I was just eating when I see something in the halls. The hall was pitch black, but I saw a black shadow figure that looked like my dad, and I said, "Dad?" There was no answer. It was just standing there looking at me. Didn't move, nothing. So I said, "Dad, is that you?" There was still no answer. I was getting very freaked out. My heart rate was picking up. Then it just ran out of the house. It didn't even open the door. I thought it was like a ghost or something, and then 2 minutes later, my dad came out of his room to use the bathroom. Saw me at the table terrified. He asked me what was wrong, and I told him. He said it was nothing and told me to go back to sleep, so I climb on the top bunk, close my eyes, and I hear something whisper my name harshly. I jolted awake, heart pounding, and I felt like someone was watching me, but there was no one in the room. I had other paranormal experiences, but I felt like this was the creepiest. Hope you post my story. Have a good night. That would have freaked me out, especially if it looked like the shape of my dad or something. There was no way I would have been able to go to sleep that night. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, friend, that was scary. What you mean? Was it okay? I'm assuming it was nighttime, because she said she was at the kitchen table. I'ma just assume it was nighttime. Friend, you see something in the doorway that looks like your dad? A shadow figure? Friend, no. The first time I say dad, you don't answer me, bet we're gonna figure this thing out together, honey. Me and myself and we're going to figure this out, because ain't no way. Like, and then you just take out running. The shadow just takes out running. No, I'm in the kitchen. Try me in the kitchen. I got oil everywhere. I got so many weapons in the kitchen. Try me in the kitchen, bruh. We got salt, we got oil, we got holy water, all up in the kitchen. You thought this girl, by that poor baby. I can't even imagine how she felt when it ran out and then she saw her dad come out the bathroom. Y'all need, like the first story said, y'all need to start listening to these kids. Like that last story, she listened to that kid. I don't know, y'all playing these games. Y'all playing too many games. Y'all know, gotta protect these kids, honey. What would you have done if you saw a girl? I can't even think. I can't even imagine that, because it's a rabbit fox around here, and this woman got bit. And I was talking to my mom. I was like, you know, I like to stay prepared, one step ahead. And I was like, what would I do if I saw that? And I was like, God forbid, if I saw that, I would have to kill that thing. I would get my key. I would suffocate it with what I would take off my shirt and suffocate that thing. Like, you know, because it's a rabbit. It's a rabbit fox, you know. I was just thinking about what would you do. So I was just thinking, you know, you got to stay prepared. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But anyway, like this video, follow all the creators, and subscribe.